Recently, I opened a can of worms by asking you, why did your child throw a tantrum? What stupid reason did your child chuck a wobbly? Isn't that such a great... chuck a wobbly. I also made a video about chucking a wobbly as an adult. Well, just like, what made you just cry? What stupid thing as an adult made you cry? And the overwhelming response was from pregnant women, mainly. So the video became... I cried when I was pregnant because... And then I decided to ask a question on Facebook, which was, baby brain, what dumb thing did baby brain cause you to do? And I didn't expect the thread to go quite as bunter as it did. And I have not read through the comments. I wanted to do that with you. Had a delivery at the door. I quickly put a bra on so I was decent enough to sign for the package. The guy gave me a weird look, and when I got back inside, I realised I'd put my bra on over my shirt. A few weeks later, I opened the door to the same delivery guy who asked if I was pregnant. I told him I was, and he said, "You're forgiven then, go back inside." And then I see that one of my boobs is hanging out the side of my dress. I drove through the school car park and was heading home till I heard my son in the back say, "Mum, you didn't let me out." Darling, it's the duck and roll method that I taught you. I had the flu and needed something to nail it on the head, so I headed up to the pharmacy and politely asked for euthanasia. Oh, that must be so depressing. Excuse me, I would like to be euthanized. Thank you, I've got a severe cold. Obviously, it's Echinacea, for those who don't know. The lady behind the counter stared at me and said, "Excuse me?" So I repeated, "Do you sell euthanasia?" The pharmacist from the other side of the counter was giggling. He said to the lady serving me, he will take over, and he took me aside and asked me politely if I meant Echinacea. I was like, ugh, close enough. Either one will do. Spending hours boiling chicken frames and vegetable to make stock and then pouring the liquid through a strainer down the sink. Oh my God, wouldn't you just kick yourself? I went through the KFC drive-thru. She gave me the 1.25 litre drink and I dropped it straight in the back seat. The drive-thru girl was like, you put your drink on the baby. Oh, well, let's be fair. Fast food does come before new children. So I would say that's not baby brain. That's just sorting out priorities. When the GP saw my newborn, who was a few weeks old, he asked me what I named him. And I broke into a cold sweat as I couldn't remember his name. Thankfully, it came to me after 10 seconds, but the look on the GP's face. That's got to be like your third or fourth child when you don't care. Like, oh, what did I name this one? Oh, it's Margaret or Stephen or Jingbolu or I don't know. Who cares? All the comments underneath are literally like, oh no, I've done the same thing. Forgetting your kid's name is like, that's a clear indication that you just need to like just walk out of the house, be like, I'll see you in a few days, and just sleep. I did this when I went to register our youngest. Completely forgot his name. See, youngest. That implies she's got another kid. What? The first kid, you dote. The second kid could not give a shit. I heard on the news an armed man was held up at a petrol station, and my first thought was, of course he had arms. Why would they even say that? What kind of damage is he going to do if he doesn't have any arms? Like he couldn't even hold a gun. Oh, armed with a weapon. Not armed with arms. Yeah, that's, I mean, Ashley, I feel like that might be alcohol-induced. Or again, no sleep. I feel like no sleep is the same as being completely drunk. I asked my baby daddy to look after our son while I went to the child maternal nurse appointment. Got halfway down the street and realised I needed the baby for the appointment. A friend of mine, bless her, I don't have kids, cried in a shop for ages about a cute onesie for her son who was not yet born. It was blue and white with little puppy dogs on it. She was crying because it was so cute and she wished she had a use for it. When I told her she was pregnant and I was buying it for the baby, she cried because she forgot she was pregnant. Then she cried later when we stopped for lunch because I had wasted my money on buying the onesie. When I asked why she thought I'd wasted my money, she told me she was having a baby, not a puppy. and the onesie had puppies on it for puppies. No, it was a onesie for a baby with puppies on it. I was definitely terrified of her that day. Oh my God, it's like, mate, okay, we need to take you home, right? Just have a sip of water, into the car we go. My mum once had baby brain. I mean, we were in our 20s, so there was no babies around, but she bought like this really nice like grass green top and the groceries, and she put the groceries away, and then for like a couple of days she was like, damn it, I think I've left the top that I bought at the shops. I can't find it anywhere. I'm pretty sure I've left it at the shops. Anyway, a few days go past and Mum's cooking dinner and she opens the lettuce crisper and she's put the top in the drawer of the lettuce crisper. I don't know why. I think because it looked like greenery. So, you know, good on you, Mum. I was so tired, I said, excuse me, to the pedestal fan as I squeezed past it. I've done that to a mannequin. I've been like, oh, I'll like hit it accidentally in the hand and be like, oh, sorry, you're not real. A friend of mine once waited in line. Like, so she bought all her shopping and she was just standing in what she thought was a line. And she was sort of just standing there holding the shopping, just looking around. And she was like, God, this line isn't moving at all. And when she looked up, she realised she was just standing in a queue of mannequins, nowhere near the counter, but she was standing in this line just holding all these clothes. Using the parents' room at a shopping centre to feed my week-old baby, I walked out after feeding and couldn't work out why everyone was staring at me. Someone then quietly told me I left my breastfeeding top and bra undone and was walking around with my milk titties hanging out. Oh my God. I walked around the shop holding my kid's hand having a chat. A concerned mother came up to me and said, oh, thank goodness you found him. Thanks for looking after him. What? Don't know how I ended up with this kid, but for half an hour I thought he was my kid. Mine turned out was home with his auntie. Oh, that could have ended so badly. Imagine like putting your kid in the car and being like, oh my God, this isn't my kid. And then being like, whose kid is this and where did you come from? I forgot to invite my friends to my birthday dinner. I sat at the restaurant and wondered where everyone was. Oh, that's sad. One time I forgot I had a baby, forgot the whole pregnancy, everything. Was sitting in the lounge watching TV when this baby next to me started crying and scared the shit out of me. Then I remembered, oh, that's right, I've had a baby. That's so great. Just like being so involved in a TV show and being like, is there a baby on that TV show? Why can I hear? Oh my God, how did this child get here? That's right, through my vagina. In order to help shift the baby weight, I would walk for miles, pushing my baby son in his pram. I got home one very hot sunny day having clocked up 4 miles to realise I'd driven into town that day and the car was in the mall car park. My aunt and uncle would often, every week, they'd have movie night, very cute. They'd go to the movies and usually they'd go together, but on this occasion they were in separate locations. So they said, well, we'll meet at Macquarie Centre and then we'll go see a movie. So anyway, they go see a movie and then they go home and they're like, oh my God, where's the Pajero? Oh my God, someone's stolen our car. They call the police. It's go missing for a while. And then it turns out they forgot they took separate cars, shared the same car home and just forgot. And it sat in the Macquarie Centre car park for a couple of days until the police were like, we found it. It's at the car park. And I don't know what my aunt said, but I could imagine it was like, oh, thank God it's been found. I wonder how it got there. Woke up after a long night feeding the baby with my breast pad on the couch and the TV remote in my bra. I was working at my home computer and had an absolute panic because I couldn't remember the last time I felt the baby move. It wasn't until I got up to tell my husband something could be wrong that I remembered, I'd given birth a week ago and the baby was quite happily asleep in the bassinet right next to my feet. I tried to put a lid on a container with leftovers in it for about 10 minutes while my husband just watched. It already had a lid on it and he didn't tell me because he wanted to see how long it would take before I realised that I was trying to put a lid on an already lidded Tupperware container. 10 minutes, that's a long time. I thought I was patting my dog, but I was patting the fluff of my handbag. I put a bib around the neck of my 9-year-old while he was eating dinner. Hey, mate, I'm 32 and I need a bib still. I freaked out thinking that if I used the hairdryer on wet hair, I would electrocute myself. So I waited for my hair to dry before using the hairdryer. Oh, mate, that's dumb. I tried to transfer my 5-kilo flour bag into a sealable tub, and it started to spill from the edges. I audibly told my husband, "Oh no, it's spilling." Instead of stopping, I proceeded to pour all 5 kilos of flour onto the floor. I stood there watching a pot of pasta boil over because for the life of me, I couldn't remember how to make it stop. When I was putting my equipment in to sterilise in the microwave at 3 a.m, I entered my PIN number and walked away and went back to sleep. Using a public restroom at Coles to relieve my pregnant bladder, once I finished peeing, I pulled my skirt and knickers to my knees. Didn't pull them any further. I opened the cubicle door and a lady waiting for her turn was greeted by my smiling face and vagina in clear view. Needless to say, she didn't enter the cubicle. She turned around and quickly left before I even understood what I was doing. I drove to work and got the bus home, then thought my car was stolen. Hayley, see? People do that. I had an argument with my partner that it was Buzz Lightyear who went to the moon. Oh, that's funny. Buzz Aldrin. It's not Buzz Lightyear. That's funny. Imagine that argument though. Like, I'm married to an idiot. It was not Buzz Lightyear did not go to the moon. He's a fictional character. My mother tried unlocking her car with a cherry ripe for 5 solid minutes. I ordered Macca's drive-through and then drove through without actually collecting my food. I was breastfeeding my son while chatting to my visiting family. I started getting into a frenzied panic because I didn't know where my baby was. My mum didn't know how to tactfully explain that he was still attached to my boob. It's like when you're on the phone. I'm on the phone and I'm going to leave the house and I grab my keys and then I'm looking for my phone. And there's a lot of times I've had to go, "I'll just call you back. I'm just going to find my phone." And then I hang up. And then as I look at my phone to hang up, I go, "Oh, there it is." I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a big storm coming. I love a good storm. I snuck out to do the grocery shopping while the baby was at home with the husband. I could hear a baby crying whilst waiting at the checkout. I proceeded to rock my babyless trolley full of groceries to soothe it. I left my baby home asleep in the cot while I went to the shop. Completely forgot I had a baby. But it's sad because people do that and they go to work and the kid's in the car still. When I was a newborn, you get into the motion of you go to the shops, you run out, you lock the car and you leave and you just forget that you have to take the baby out of the back. And I remember Mum telling me this story of when I think she didn't forget about me, but she ended up locking the keys in the car with me, having a massive panic attack because I was just in the car. She couldn't get into the car. I think the police were called. And then I think she did that again. And then they ended up with that magnetic key holder at the back of the number plate. I wrapped up my husband's mobile phone inside a packet of prosciutto and put it in the fridge. I reversed out of the driveway and didn't know what side of the road to drive on until a car came past. I've done that before. I was looking for the salt in the cupboard, pushed the salt out of the way so I could get a better look of where the salt might be. I threw out meat products over and over thinking they were off and almost wrote a scathing letter to the supermarket. 5 years later and pregnant again, I opened the meat packet and went to throw it out because it was off. That's when I realised it wasn't the meat, it was a change in my sense of smell during pregnancy. That's not baby brain, that's like cool pregnancy facts. Maybe that's my next one. Maybe I ask, what superpowers did you get when you were pregnant? I defrosted bread in the microwave for 20 minutes instead of 20 seconds. And I didn't realise. And the smell, whoa, was it real? I got out of the shower and realised I'd only shaved one leg. I forgot what I named my son. Third one, she says, here's the third one. See? You don't care. By the third one, you don't care. I forgot what I named my son for several hours while I was in hospital after the C-section. Mate, We've discovered that is a perfectly normal thing to do. One night, not long after having my first child, I was asleep in bed with the baby monitor on my bedside table. Not long into the night, my son started to cry, and my husband will testify to the fact that I sat up in bed, I picked up the baby monitor and held it up to my head and gently stroked it, rocking it backwards and forwards, trying to comfort it. Mummy's here. I took $1,000 out of the ATM, took the receipt and went home. 2 hours later, after searching high and low, I realised I picked up the receipt and whilst reading the balance, walked away from the ATM without the cash. I hope someone who really needed the money got it. I've done that before. I've gotten money out of self-serve ATMs, like cash out as well. So you take the receipt in the groceries and you just walk away. $50 in the thing. Just forgot about it. Oh, I tried swiping and zooming on a paper catalogue.